make people interested and really realize, like, wow, I'm aging right now, and this is not okay. I don't really like this, and I don't like this happening to other people, and I have to do something about this. So the purpose was to study what makes people realize that aging is a problem. And there's a real, I get so much inspiration from that group. Some of the stories are so touching, so everyone is really welcome to contribute their stories, and just scroll down the page and really read through them. You will connect to people in just on a really different level, and really care what motivates people to get involved in the topic. So, what did we learn from that group? A lot of people got into the topic by reading Ray Kurzweil's book. Well, I wouldn't call this really surprising. Ray Kurzweil did a wonderful job, and he wrote a plethora of really forward-looking books. But I have an issue with Ray Kurzweil, to be honest. When I talk to people, I often hear, yeah, well, Ray Kurzweil predicts that singularity is going to happen around 2045 or 2040. So the only thing that we have to do is to be alive at the point of time. And I'm like, nah. What if something bad happens to you in between? What if you get like a cancer out of nowhere, or what if you get hit by a car? Like, what if something bad happens to you? And plus, what about your loved ones? What about all of the people who are, older than you are? This is not okay to be just, sitting down, not doing anything, and like waiting for the technological singularity to come. Well, this is not our approach. What I think that those books are lacking is the motivation to do something right now. Yes, so basically, this is the situation that we would like to avoid. We're here right now, and that's the time, right? So what if we're late by just one day, by just 1 week, until the moment when those groundbreaking technologies that will cure all the age-related diseases and make us live longer are created? What if we have, let's say, multiple organ failure just a week before that? We're too late. So, Longevity Cookbook is about pushing our biological limits forward and accelerating creation of the life-extending technologies. So, how are we planning to do that? Well, the book will consist of several parts. First of all, because it's a cookbook, it's going to have recipes. So you would ask, what kind of food products are we going to include in those recipes? Well, we will transform your view of the food as being, well, it's not just an energy source, it's actually a bioregulator and a hormone. Food impacts the way your genes work inside your cells. And it's really important because a lot of those genes are involved in really crucial processes that regulate your aging and your life expectancy. So, this is just one of the examples. Caffeine has been shown to suppress door signaling, and showing this molecule, it's not a coincidence. This is one of the major regulators of human aging. It's the TOR pathway, and it's a very good idea to suppress its activity. It's been shown to increase lifespan in so many animals, and this is one of the ways to slow down aging, and we can do this through food. And we will talk about all of the other food products and nutrition regimes that are out there, that are known to the researchers, but not necessarily to the general public. And there's so much contradictory data that we would like to reconcile and pretty much say, well, take a look, guys. There's 30 papers that's saying substance A will, let's say, reduce your lung cancer risk. But there's another 15 papers saying that it's gonna, let's say, do something bad for you. So we will provide the understanding of the science right now, what it knows about various foods and their impact on longevity and various age-related diseases. And we will basically do like a huge meta-analysis on that and create a database. And this is why we are raising money for the Longevity Cookbook. The largest proportion of it will go to the bioinformatic analysis of those, well, hundreds and maybe thousands of papers. So this has to be very, very high quality work. And that's why we would like to ask you to contribute and share the campaign. It's really important. It's moving aging science and longevity science forward. Next part of the book, the very crucial part of the book, it's actually about longevity science. Well, these guys know what to do, and you see the faces of the world's leading aging researchers here. And, well, but they have a problem. Their work is not funded well. Actually, everybody has a plan. It's not a mystery. Science knows what needs to be done for aging to be stopped and for aging diseases to be prevented. Of course, there are no guarantees. Nobody can guarantee you a 100% result. It's just that I can guarantee you, if we do not increase funding for aging research, we're all going to suffer and be in pain and eventually die from aging. So, this is an example of the second part of the cookbook. It's going to have a description of those scientific experiments that will make us live longer and healthier. So this is an example of a combination of longevity gene therapies. So the idea is to take, let's say, 20 best longevity genes, because right now we really know, let's say, about 100 of genes that, well, some of them need to be suppressed and some need to be activated. That combination will, so we know a lot of genes, right? And the idea here is to combine them all together and do and test the effects simultaneously. So why do we think this is a good idea? Well, first of all, there was already a very successful example. Maria Blasco, several years ago, published this paper where she showed that in all mice, actually she took adult and old mice, and she introduced the telomerase gene. I'm guessing a lot of people have heard about telomeres here. These are the ends of our chromosomes, the DNA molecules in our cells, that get shorter and shorter every time the cell divides, and eventually they're too short, so the cell recognizes them as the irreparable damage, and it decides to die, or become cancerous or senescent. So, one of the ways to slow down aging is to increase those telomeres. And we can do genetic mutations and create transgenic animals. But we cannot really do this with humans, right? Because, well, that would be just wrong, because we're already born. We want to do something about us. And this is why I think this work is really important, because it shows a result, a life-extending result, in old mice, in old animals. And we're all, every single one of us here is an old mouse, because we already have been born. So, Maria Blasco got 24% lifespan increase in 1-year-old animals, in adults, and 13% in really old, sort of like a retired person-ish mice. They were 2 years old. So, but what if we do several genes and combinations? Here's another spectacular example that tells us that it's actually possible to get much more than just, let's say, 13 or 24%. So this is the work of Pankaj Kapaki, who works at the Buck Institute. And what they did is they took two genes and did mutations. They switched them off simultaneously in one worm. If you switch one of them separately, you get 30% of life extension. If you do another gene separately, you get 100% life extension. But if you do them simultaneously, you get almost 500%, which is amazing. This is the synergy, this is what we want. What if we do a combination of various things all together and we get not just a marginal result, but something really significant that will allow us to live much longer and much healthier? Well, this is one of the, this is just an example of those experiments that we will describe in Longevity Cookbook. And others include a combination of pharmacological drugs. Well, did you know that there's a whole bunch of things that you can actually go and buy in a pharmacy? But we wouldn't yet recommend that because we don't know what dosages and the regimes that you would need to take those drugs. And those drugs include rapamycin, metformin, ibuprofen, aspirin, acrobose, and there's a whole list. And they're all FDA-approved drugs, but for different indications. Nobody was really paying attention to aging. It's not recognized as a disease, which is also a problem that we will talk about in Longevity Cookbook. All right, so aging is a super complicated problem. And it's very likely that we will need a very large-scale project to deal with it. So how do we do that? Well, science is expensive, and all of those guys, all of those faces, they have wonderful ideas and they need financial support to implement those ideas in real life. So how do we persuade the people and agencies that have the money to give that not for war, but rather for longevity science? Well, let's take a look at a couple of historic examples. This guy, oh my God, this is an amazing guy. Well, there's one problem. He did one terrible thing. He managed to get the prohibition law passed. Nobody cared about prohibition. I mean, come on. In the beginning of the 20th century, like pretty much 90% of American population were against banning alcohol. I mean, can you imagine not having a bar here? It's ridiculous, right? Anyways, that guy thought that alcohol is really wrong, and he wanted to not drink, prohibit it. So, what he did, he actually set up this thing for the first time. It was called a pressure group, and he introduced this term. He created a group of people united by one idea, pressuring the politicians to side with them. There was this guy, he was running for, I think, a governor in Texas, and he was everybody's favorite. He was almost absolutely sure he's gonna get the position he was running for. So this guy, Wayne Wheeler, comes in, and they pretty much threw him out of the game. They created so many, bad stories about the candidates, so he lost. Then everybody from both Democratic and the Republican parties were like, oh, this guy presents a problem, because really, what are the politicians, what do they care about most? Any ideas? Well, being elected, that's the only thing that they care about. And everybody who presents a problem, a hurdle to that, they would rather side with that group or person than run against them. So all of a sudden, everybody, all of the candidates from any party, they would rather be friends with that guy than go against him. And he would side with every political group that would have their own issues, but if they would say yes to the prohibition, he would support them. So this is a spectacular example of something really, really unpopular being introduced as a law. It was actually a terrible idea because it led to, you know, the mafia. It was one of the contributing factors to the depression. So it's just a terrible thing. But we can learn from that example. That guy basically created the PAC. That's a political action committee. And this is what we need for longevity. We need to create a pressure group, a group of people united by one idea that would fight for one, in this case, very positive issue, which is like living longer and, you know, experiencing the joy of life for longer. Not something as ridiculous as that. Here's another example, which I find very inspirational one. It's a short video. It's from the 80s. This is how the gay community fought for their lives. They were fighting the FDA that was stalling creation of anti-HIV drugs. So the lives of these guys were on the line, and they realized that, and they united, and they went into the streets. And let's take a look at what they did.
Story that once there was a terrible disease and that a brave group of people stood up and fought, and in some cases died so that others might live and be free.
So they realized it was about their lives, and if they stood up and fought for them, they could live longer and healthier. And take a look now, HIV is it's almost defeated. And this is what we're proposing here. And Longevity Cookbook is a tool that can be used for us to unite and form a very powerful community that can influence the government and the society and the billionaires. Very, very likely the billionaires. And we can change it all, really. And we can make our lives longer and healthier. Please welcome.
Talked about this with anybody. I never thought of it as a problem before. I cannot be silent any longer. I need my voice to be heard because it is destroying me. It is destroying my family, but most importantly, it is destroying all of you. It is aging. Aging wipes out all of the beauty in the world. I'm Konovalenko. I'm the organizer of Genetics of Aging and Longevity Conference Series. Your health is a scientific problem, and it's a very complicated one. We would love to help you with it. My team and I have a solution. It is Longevity Cookbook. Scientifically based diet will significantly improve your chances to live longer and healthier, and be there when the groundbreaking technologies will make radical life extension possible. Longevity Cookbook is a strategy to defeat aging. World's leading aging researchers actually know what to do. They know what projects will make you live longer and healthier. Those projects include creating longevity gene therapy, a combination of life-extending drugs, and even a symbiotic organism. There is no mystery. Science knows what to do, and I would like to make the voices of the world's leading researchers heard. We will describe those research projects in our Longevity Cookbook. Aging steals away everything that you like. It takes away your time. Please support and share Longevity Cookbook campaign. Woo!
very, very exciting announcement to make. Longevity Cookbook is very happy to have Steve Aoki on board. He is a superstar DJ, and he is very much interested in the bright future of the humanity, and this is why we're joining forces with Steve Aoki, and here's what he has to say. Let's listen.
You and I have a problem. It's aging. Aging is slowly killing every person. We have to solve this problem, otherwise we will all die. So how can we do it? Obviously with the help of science. What kind of research has the power to cure aging? This is what the Longevity Cookbook is going to tell you. The best scientists united to explain how to defeat aging. Longevity Cookbook will also tell you what kind of food is the best to live longer and healthier from a scientific standpoint. Let's defeat aging together. Support Longevity Cookbook.
Yay! Support Longevity Cookbook! Thank you everyone for coming. Now let's